What's up, guys? I'm Jack, and this is Daisy, and welcome to our first challenge run in Elden Ring Nightreign. So, what is this challenge? What are the rules? Well, we are beating Elden Ring Nightreign as Raider, but with magic. I know, pretty crazy. I wasn't too sure about the viability of this challenge, but I thought it would be pretty funny to, again, beat the game as Big Bonk Man, but with intellect. So let's see how this goes. I'm mostly worried about FP consumption. My main character that I play is Revenant, and even with a giant FP bar, I still very often run out of FP. So I really didn't think we were going to be able to have enough FP to actually get through the game. And I had some decent enough relics to put on for Raiders, so let's give this a try. The first thing we do is, of course, get some staffs from one of these castles, and they were fine, I guess. They had glintstone pebble, which is pretty decent, but our damage was not very decent. Yeah, this is gonna be rough. I decided to take out this camp of fire cultists, and thankfully there was a grace right next to me, so I could rest there and get my FP back, making this an easy fight. I figured the best thing that we could do is get some levels so that we did more damage and had more FP. And with that, we made it to level 3, and I could wield uncommon armament. Next up, we stopped at a Sorcerer's Rise, not only to get Starlight Shards, but because if we actually open the seal, which, I couldn't figure this one out, but yeah, if we open the seal, we actually get an increase to our max FP, because that's one of the relics I'm running. So after spending a good 2 minutes just running around looking for the crust, I decided to just go to the other one that was nearby, which thankfully was the one that you can just run into without having to look for the crust, so that was very nice. And from this we grabbed a pretty good Staff of the Guilty. I also decided to take out the nearby Scarab, and he gave us Old Lord's Talisman. I went to the nearby Everjail and fought some banished knights who very quickly destroyed me, and it took another 2.5 minutes before I was actually able to get them to low health. And it's annoying because, again, I have to worry about my FP consumption. I have to save my Starlight Shards for the first night's boss fight. But with the help of our Staff of the Guilty, we did defeat them and got increased potency for our sorceries. And the first boss that we would have to face is Wormface, who took pretty decent damage from our Thorn sorcery, so that's nice. I ended up using our ultimate to basically stay safe from the Death Blight, and I tried to hit Wormface with our Briars of Punishment, but it was very inconsistent, unfortunately. We probably could have wiped him right there if we actually hit him. And even though we missed most of our shots, we did manage to take him to about a third health, which, not bad. We do need to use one of our Starlight Shards, but we definitely had enough FP to finish this fight. And as a reward, we got better dodging, which, that's awesome. So, night 1 is already taken care of. Next up, we ran into a Leonin Misbegotten, destroyed him pretty easily, and then fought the nearby Everjail boss, and we got increased magic attack power from the Everjail boss. Oh, and by the way, this Sorcerer's Rise, I went back to it, and it was the candle next to the door. You have to hit it to turn it on, and then the seal will appear. And I ended up taking the Staff of Loss, which has Night Comet on it, which is awesome, and I grabbed a purple smithing stone to upgrade it. The next night's boss was the Outland Commander, and, well, we don't do nearly as good damage to him as we did to Wormface. And I once again tried to use our ultimate to stay safe and hit him from the air. And we hit him once, and then spammed it, and didn't hit him again, even though it was blowing up right at his feet. But I kept spamming it, but it just wouldn't hit. That was very sad. A huge waste of FP. And I tried to go for a Glintstone Ice Crag, hit it, but then got hit back and taken down. And there goes our extra life. And we didn't survive long after that. Well, I didn't expect to win on the first try, so let's try again and see how it goes. And our strategy is basically the same every time we go to a nearby castle and grab these staffs that are free at the top, This run, I got a pretty decent one with Glintstone Pebble and Carrion Slicer, which Carrion Slicer is incredibly FP efficient, so I'm gonna look for that in future runs as well. And shortly after, I decided to go into a mine and grab a purple smithing stone. And during this run, I was trying out the relic from Equilibrious Beast, the one that gives you FP upon madness, but I realized that I wasn't using the crossed leg gesture, so I just ended up resetting. I came back with the cross legs gesture and immediately went to a Sorcerer's Rise, and figured this one out almost immediately, thankfully, and grabbed a bunch of Starlight Shards. We also got a really good blue Carrion Slicer staff, so that's awesome. Once again, I grabbed a purple smithing stone and tried to get another from this statue, but I accidentally used my ultimate too close to the statue, and I'll have to wait to see what we got. From there, we get a special event. We basically just have to take out all the enemies in this area, and then we will get increased charge speed on our ultimate, which is pretty sweet. So, of course, we're gonna go for that. We do some great damage with our staff, but these guys also hit us pretty hard, and they have the Flame of Frenzy incantation, which, it's really hard, especially when you get inflicted with madness and die almost immediately. And, this took a few tries. I definitely wasted a lot of time on this event, but that's totally okay, because it may or may not have been worth it. I don't think it was, but it's fine. I didn't lose any runes, I kept getting them back before I died. So after a few more deaths, we slowly started to take out the enemies, and we were left with one giant left. We are left with one giant left. Ugh, that's just bad writing. But we won, so we got the increased charge speed, and unfortunately, the boss for the night was a bell-bearing hunter. So we died very quickly. Yeah, I definitely saw that one coming. The next night, I once again get a pretty good Carrion Slicer staff and upgrade it. And we also get a much easier night boss, being the Demi-Human Queen and the Demi-Human Swordsmaster. So we once again make it to night 2. Pretty good. And like I said earlier, Carrion Slicer is probably the most FP efficient spell in the game, which we need FP efficient, so I do continue to go for Carrion Slicer during each attempt. It's just so good too. It does great damage, it does poise damage. Hi Daisy. You can cast it so quickly. It's a great spell. After defeating the night boss, we run into a Royal Revenant and take it out pretty quickly. Our reward from that is lower FP consumption, which is always welcome. We also defeat the nearby Leonin Misbegotten and get increased potency for our sorceries. That's the only notable thing that happened that night, so on to the boss. We run into the Fell Omen this time, and I don't think we'll have too many problems with him. I wish I had more flasks, but we'll make do with what we have. It's also important to note that I have 2 extra lives, so we should make it past the Fell Omen here. At least, theoretically. So I dodge all of his throwing knife attacks and go for some Carrion Slicers. One important thing to note about this build that I'm currently rocking is that I have like 2 different weapons that give me improved damage negation when I'm casting spells, which is just awesome, especially if I'm using Carrion Slicer. So when I'm casting that, I barely take any damage. And thankfully, we do have enough FP to finish this fight, even though we lost our extra life. We leave Margit, or I guess the Fell Omen, one shot, and run out of FP. I have 2 Starlight Shards, but I want to save them, so we just wait for our Carrion Phalanx to take him out. I guess that's not Carrion Phalanx, that's multiple periodical glint blades or something. And we take lightning upon dodging. And time to fight the boss. We lost. Yeah, I didn't have nearly enough healing flasks to finish that fight. Though I did have enough FP, which is a good sign that this challenge can be completed. The next night, I ran into another bell-bearing hunter, and he once again rocked my shit. This is going great. Oof. Well, let's get this over with. Also, if for some reason my voice sounds different, it's because I had to go to work in between the voiceover recordings. So I actually just got back Anyway, what's pretty interesting is we've actually gotten the same seed the past couple of times. And I mean the same seed as in the same map layout. So I do the normal thing of grabbing some starlight shards and an extra flask from the church before picking up the staffs from the nearby castle. This time I didn't really get anything good, but it'll do for now. I just need to get to level 3 to be able to fully use them, because they are both blue. I picked up a stone sword key and went to the next nearby church and looked for more starlight shards, as well as grabbing another healing flask, of course. Now, instead of leveling up, for whatever reason, I decided to go to a nearby rise, which, I mean, not a bad idea, but extra levels probably would have been better here, but that's okay. And this time, the puzzle was the moving tree stump, which, yeah, he eluded me for quite a bit. But eventually I did manage to catch up and stop this tree stump from running away. But yeah, it turns out he can dodge literally all of my magic. So this took way longer than it should have, and it was definitely a huge waste of time. But let's see what we got from the top. It was an albinuric staff with glintstone pebble and night shard, which, I probably won't use it. I also found this treasure chest with the bloody helix, and a couple of other good things, but I can't really use any of them and they didn't have any good passives, so I just skipped them. Lastly, I opened up this statue, only to find a chain link flail with improved sorceries. So that's actually a pretty solid passive that I am going to take. I cleared out a nearby camp and grabbed the celebrant skull with improved charge sorceries, which should maybe possibly help out if I use any charge sorceries, but I don't think I will. But I grabbed it just in case. We also took out this skull, but unfortunately did not get anything useful. I unlocked yet another rise, and this time it was the fake wall in the back right corner. So this was a super easy one. I think I know every single rise puzzle now, so that's interesting. And we grabbed some starlight shards from it, of course, as well as a carrion slicer staff, which is really good. It also has FP restoration upon attacks, which is just awesome. Also, I didn't really test this out too well, but do sorceries count as attacks? Like, am I gonna get some FP regeneration on sorceries? Pay attention to the FP bar, let me know what you see. And that's totally not just comment bait, because comments are good for the YouTube algorithm. I'm totally genuinely curious what you guys see and think, and if you know the truth. And lastly, before the night boss, I decided to take out this Sanguine Noble at this camp, which was a bit of a chore due to how much he just spreads bleed around, so yeah, it took a little while, but we did do some pretty decent damage with glintstone pebble. But night was coming pretty quickly, so we really needed to finish this up so that we could heal out of Sight of Grace and level up and get to the tree. But one final glintstone pebble took him out, and I decided to destroy this dog and grab improved physical damage negation, which is always appreciated. And then before heading to the tree, I stopped at the Sight of Grace to level up real quick, and thus began our annoyingly long fight with the pre-boss enemies. These perfumers just kept healing, and it was a huge waste of FP to take them out. It was so annoying, I hate these guys. And the worst part is that means that the bell-bearing hunter is going to be the boss that we face. So not only are we wasting a bunch of FP taking these guys out, but we're going to need all the FP that we can get for the boss. So the bell-bearing hunter came out, and this time instead of using carrion slicer, I decided to go for glintstone pebble, just because I thought some extra range might do us some good against this guy. And after facing those perfumers, I also was pretty low on health and pretty low on FP, so I had to heal and restore my FP with my limited supply of starlight shards before continuing. Thankfully though, glintstone pebble is a pretty good spell. Overall, it has very low FP consumption and very good damage. So I was pretty happy with how it was working out so far. I ended up using my ult to supplement some damage, and we got a decent chunk off of him with it. We ended up blowing through our entire reserves of starlight shards and FP, leaving him to be about 2-shot. But thankfully, we did have our character skill that we could use to finish this fight. Otherwise, I would have to bonk him with one of my staffs, and that probably would have taken forever. But with that, we've defeated the bell-bearing hunter, and we can continue. Unfortunately, the only useful thing we got was sudden enemy deaths, which isn't that useful, but still something. We go ahead and grabbed a purple smithing stone as well as an extra life before upgrading our Carrion Slicer staff. I also went to the big castle basement and saw that it was a royal revenant, and I just didn't want to deal with it, so I left. Instead, I used a stone sword key and had to face these Nox warriors who very quickly took me out. Yeah, they messed me up. It was just one of them too. Like, it's kind of embarrassing. It's totally fine. After coming back, I did get some FP from them after defeating them, and I grabbed another extra life from this special merchant over here, as well as some more starlight shards. And the best part about this is that this merchant is actually right next to where the night boss is going to be. So I can use as many starlight shards as I want for the fight, and then just come back to him and purchase more starlight shards before going to fight the final boss. Anyway, I cleared out this camp and looked for any more FP regeneration tools or sorcery/magic damage increase passives, and I didn't find too much, but I found a little bit. Thankfully, our FP bar is actually not that small, so I think we should be good. And our damage with Carrion Slicer is great, even against Margit over here. Or is it Morgoth or just Omen? I don't know, I'm just gonna call him Margit. But anyway, he did take one of our extra lives, but that's fine. We don't really need it, as when we have a chance to use our Carrion Slicer, we do so much damage. Margit's down, and we're on to the final boss. I grabbed the periodical giant glint blades because that is just so nice, and then went to the merchant to buy more starlight shards just as planned, and we're maxed out on starlight shards, as well as extra lives now. And here's my full build. FP regeneration, improved sorceries, improved magic damage, taking damage restores FP, increased health, increased stamina, and increased physical damage negation. And all of this we'll have to do for the final boss, otherwise we're kinda screwed. And of course, I immediately got hit by an attack the second I entered the arena. Also, in general, this did take me a few tries and this was difficult, but this was an easier challenge run, I think. And I just want to get warmed up before I take on any harder ones, so this is a good practice run for future runs, which might be a bit more difficult and or time consuming. So if you're sitting back and thinking, wow, this run really isn't that hard, I mean, you're kind of right. But it was a learning curve, learning how to manage FP wisely, which honestly helps me when I play Revenant too, so this was a good learning and practice experience. Anyway, we used our charged up character skill, which gets a poise break and allows us to just deal massive damage with our Carrion Slicer. That was awesome. And he goes into this little phase transition right there, and I run away for a bit. Now, my idea is to get them all surrounding me and then use my ultimate in order to just wait it out. I'm completely safe up here, they can't hit me, so might as well just wait out this annoying triple dog phase. I tried out the crystal burst thingy, but it really didn't do that much damage, so I decided not to waste the FP, and restored the rest of it with the starlight shard. What's crazy is that with Carrion Slicer, we got this dog below half health, and we only used half of an FP bar. Now, unfortunately, our ultimate didn't last for the whole 3 dogs phase, but it did most of it, and we're able to run away and dodge for the rest. Or at least attempt to dodge. I heal up when he transforms back into Cerberus, and decide to charge him for some Carrion Slicers, which doesn't work too well. But we do eventually get some hits off after he does a big AoE attack, which leaves him vulnerable. He does another sword swing, we dodge through it, run up, and go for more Carrion Slicers, dealing some good damage. He's down to about a quarter health, which is honestly really impressive. That's further than I thought I'd get. We even get a poise break here, which allows us to do so much damage. Again, I think we're gonna win this. He's literally one hit right now. We just gotta get one more Carrion Slicer off, and wow, that was a lot easier than I thought. And honestly, I think one full FP bar would have been enough to finish him. I mean, look at how many starlight shards we still have. That went so much better than I expected. That was a fun run. It took a while. It took like 4 or 5 hours of attempts, probably 4 hours, but that was a lot of fun. Also, if you guys are curious what relics I got as rewards, they were all garbage. I mean, this blue one here is decent, but I saved it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys. If you want to subscribe, that would be super helpful to any of my channel members who are still around. I love you guys, and thank you so much for supporting me through all of this. I appreciate you, as always. But anyway, y'all's viewership is quite enough for me, so thanks for watching, and have a good one. Peace.